How long should your fast be? From our past videos about the proper way to fast and the 12 mistakes you should absolutely not make during fasting and prayers, many of you have raised the question, how long should my fast be? And I know probably right now someone is listening to this video now and they are maybe on a church 21 days, 40 days, and you're just struggling and you're hoping that I'm just going to tell you what you want to hear. Please tell me I don't have to go through to the end. Well, I'm not exactly going to tell you what you want to hear, but this is something interesting. How long you fast is not important. Get that again? How long you fast has nothing to do with the fasting experience. A couple of years back during prayer and fasting, I decided to read the book by Kenneth E. Hagin, Common Sense Guide to Prayer and Fasting. And I was shocked, literally shocked, when he said in his book that for his more than 50 years of serving God and working with God, he has never taken on a fast longer, wait for it, than 3 days. That is 72 hours maximum fast. And if you know this man, the servant of God, then you know the kind of things God used him to do. And yeah, he is saying he has never done more than 3 days. And I was barely getting through 21 days prayer and fasting. So what was going wrong here? Was I being scammed? And what about all the, 40 days fast? Well, remember I said the length of your fast has nothing to do with the experience of prayer and fasting. Sadly, today, many have been preaching the length of a fast. It's like leaving the Rhema and emphasizing the logos. Many people even say to start your ministry, you have to go on a 40 days fast because Jesus went on a 40 days fast and Moses spent 40 days on the mountain. But the scriptures doesn't teach that. When you look at the apostles, the Bible tells us, for example, Apostle Paul, when he encountered Christ, he went for 3 days without eating before his eyes were open. You could call that a 3 days fast. Well, so some people have testified that when God called them, they fasted 3 days. And their ministry is blessing lives. I've also seen other people who said they fasted for 3 years waiting on God to prepare for the ministry. And their ministry is also blessing lives. So wait a minute. 3 years, 3 days. Well, I think I'll probably choose the lesser one. Well, you see, that's the point. It's not up to you to choose how long you're going to fast. Remember, the objective is spending time with God so that he can fill you with himself. So all of that then is dependent on how much open you are to God, how much submitted you are to receive, and also the work that he has called you to do. While meditating on this topic, the Holy Spirit made me understand that our problem of fasting today is that we approach fasting with a religious mindset so much that we have reduced fasting for fasting. Do you know that you can engage in 21 days prayer and fasting because you want God to help you with an understanding to tackle something, and on the second day you get your answer, just like Daniel, and eureka, you've got your answer on day 2. Well, 19 days scrubbed up the books and you don't have to go for the remaining 19 days. But I'm sure many of us, that wouldn't ring in our mind. You've said 21 days, you have to go for 21 days even if you got your answer on the first day. Then at that point it means that you're no longer fasting to be with God. You're fasting for fasting. Okay, that's just confusing, but that's the problem. We are fasting for fasting. We are not fasting for the experience, the encounters, the results, the benefits, and the blessings that fasting gives us. Well, I can already hear someone saying, wow, thank God, I'm ending this fast now. 2 days is enough for me. Well, don't get carried away. One thing you also understand from Kenneth E. Hagin's book is that though the longest period of fasting he had ever gone at once was 72 hours, his life was literally punctuated with fasting. So he was living what we call a fasted life, and that's the most effective life a believer can live. Take, for example, a university degree probably in your local university, maybe 3 years or 4 years. But there are people who have committed themselves and completed the program in 1 year or 2 years, while there are others who have taken twice that time to get the same degree. So if I ask you, okay, how long does it take to get a degree? Well, it's not really about the length of time, though there is an average time that has been set, but it's about your personal commitment, knowing that I came here for this, I'm going to get this, and I'm going to give all my intention to I receive it. So if you're really focused on what you want to receive from God and you block out 21 days to say, this is about the time I'm sure I'll receive something from God, and you come wholeheartedly, intentional, committed, submitted, you really eliminate all the distractions, it's quite possible that God can answer you before the 21 days. And then you would now turn from fasting and prayers to praise and worship and celebrating God, thanking Him for what He has done. You're not going to say, well, I have to keep fasting because I started fasting. The purpose of fasting is not to fast. The purpose of fasting is to draw closer to God. Remember that definition all through your life. Are you fasting for fasting's sake, or are you fasting because you have clear objectives you want to achieve and attain in the realm of the spirit this season? Are they written down? Are they targeted goals? Are they targeted experiences and encounters that you're really looking forward to with intention, passion, and zeal? Or you're just bent on carrying yourself through and enduring through the length of period that has been assigned for the fast so that you too can say, hooray, I crossed the finish line? No, the finish line in prayer and fasting is not in exhausting the 21 or 40 days. The finish line is in experiencing God the way you set out to experience Him. So that said, it goes both ways. You may set out and say, I'm going for 21 days. And after 21 days, God still hasn't spoken. What He is saying is, come closer, come closer. You have come this far, come closer. So from 21 days, you go to 40 days. If you still don't get Him, you keep going closer to Him as long as He's leading you. You don't say, well, God, I've given you 21 days. After 21 days, you don't reply me, I'm moving on with my life. Fasting is the medium through which we get closer to God. Fasting in itself is not God. Fasting in itself is not getting closer to God. No, it's the medium. So once you're in that medium, say a pipe, you have to give yourself focus and the push to actually go through the medium, the pipe, so you can get to your first love. So how long should you fast? As long as it takes for you to be filled with God. How long should you fast? As long as it takes for you to drop all the earthly attachments and pleasures of this life. How long should you fast? As long as it takes for you to bring your flesh under subjection. Now, if you think of it, this looks like fasting forever, because the battle between the spirit and the flesh is technically a lifetime battle. And that is why this brings us to our conclusion. The lifestyle of fasting is the most effective for a believer. Yes, you should engage long periods because they also have their benefits. 21 days, 40 days have their benefits, but they are not a religious pattern or formula that you have to follow. The goal is to remain subjected to the Spirit, and for that it is a daily battle. We have to commit ourselves to skip meals, to skip some of our desires. Oh, I realize that I'm beginning to attach to this show. I'm going to fast from it from a couple of days so that it doesn't absorb and get a hold in my flesh. Oh, I'm realizing that this relationship is beginning to take the place of my prayer time, so I'm going to fast for it for a while. And so your life is a perpetual system of prayer and fasting. It's like you continuously weeding your garden from every tare and shrub that keeps growing in season and out of season. And as we do that, every time the battle shows up, we will be spiritually vibrant, buoyant, and energized to conquer. So forget about how long your pastor plays the fast and you don't like it. Focus on what you want to get out of the fast and go in there with intention until you get it. It could be a day, it could be 10 days, it could be 100 days. The point is not the days, the point is the goal, the purpose, God in us. Please appreciate this wonderful people with me. This video is gladly sponsored and made possible by our amazing family of patrons. You too can support this channel. The link is in the description below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new here. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Buddha's Jumesi, and see you in the next video.